I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks. I can't do it.
Daily Puck Drop. It is Monday, July 7th. That's right. The go-to guy is back. Daily Puck Drop. We go live every single day from 10 to 11:30 on Twitter, on YouTube. Puck Sports mobile app. Download it today to your favorite phone. Doesn't matter. iPhone, Android, does not matter. You can listen to the show on the move, on the go, on the Puck Sports mobile app. Now, if you're in a live show and you're like, oh, I want to watch or listen to it again later, everything is up on YouTube there on Puck Sports. Also, you can listen to the world-renowned podcast, The Daily Puck Drop, on your favorite podcast platform. It does not matter which one you listen to. And you can catch up on everything up at pucksports.com. We are broadcasting live from the Limback Lumber Studios. Contractors, they offer free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects, the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service. Why? Because they've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call at 206-782-3487 or visit them online at limbacklumber.com. Be sure to follow all the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky at Puck Sports, and Puck_sports there on TikTok. And you can find it on Facebook. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the one and only go-to guy, Jim Moore, joins us, and he's brought to you by...
Hey, Puck, good morning. I'm brought to you by A Clean Streak, professional window and exterior cleaning service out of Oak Harbor, proudly serving Island and Skagit counties for more than 10 years. If you have a job done around your house, you got to get it done by A Clean Streak, and Brian Turner and his crew. They're going to clean your roof. They'll unclog your gutters, pressure wash your driveway, your patio, and your deck. All three, okay? They'll even wash your windows too. So give them a call. They'll give you a free estimate. They'll come out and just tell you how much it's going to cost. And if you don't want to do the job, that's fine. So just give them a call and find out about it. 360-395-5748 or visit acleanstreak.com.
Life is easy. Life is easy when somebody else does the work, right? I'm thinking about building like a she shed, right? Like the one that you're in.
You are.
Yeah, but then I'm thinking, that would be a real man thing to do, to actually do it yourself, right? Learn how to build something, do, little labor with your own hands and time and effort. But then I'm like, it's just not for me.
It's not for me either, Puck. And I feel, inadequate in some respects.
So do I.
Especially because my dad was a builder and he could do all that stuff. My sister got that builder gene. I didn't. I just didn't. I look at just any house, pick a house. I have no idea how they do the foundation and make it all line up and get everything finished.
Have you ever built something? I built a workbench, a simple workbench, and it's like the easiest thing you could possibly build. And then I look at it every time I go down there and go, God, look at that. Look what I accomplished. And I'm thinking, this is like someone who would look at this and go, any idiot could do this. Why are you taking some victory lap?
No, I wouldn't be that idiot looking at that workbench thinking that. No. I'd be thinking, God, that's pretty cool you were able to do that, Puck. Yeah, it can be a fiasco. We had a rental house over in Port Orchard, and I was trying to do some different things, and just painting, routine stuff. I managed to weed eat outside, and I got into some gravel, and I hit the gravel with the weed eater, and it broke the sliding glass door.
Of course you did.
Like, what kind of fool would do that? Like, hey, wait a minute, there's a glass door right over there 10 feet away. The gravel that's spit out might do some damage, but I didn't think about it until I saw it.
I can kind of top you on that one. I was doing the same thing out in my front yard, and I was getting close to a little bit of, there's like grass that goes into this gravel to the side of my house where we have planting beds. And then there's my alley, and then my neighbors across the street. While I'm over there, I hit a rock and flicked it so far to the bedroom window of my neighbors and broke their window.
The bedroom window of the neighbors?
Yeah.
Did you know it, or did he call you and say, "Hey, Puck"?
I didn't realize it at the time. No. And they're like, I think our window was broken, and we know you were out there weed eating, and we think a rock hit it to the window. Then I'm like, there's no way. And then I'm thinking, oh yeah, there probably is a way.
So you had to pay for it.
Yeah, we had to pay for it. We took care of it.
How much was it?
I don't really remember. $500-$600,
Yeah,
something like that.
God, that much?
Yeah,
I guess so. I mean, that sliding glass door. I remember it was like, God, I don't know, $700 or $800, something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah. Mariners sweep over the weekend. I don't,
that transition sucked. Come on,
it was.
You're better than that.
Yeah, okay, let's do that one over again. Okay, so the window was broken. Yeah, you know what the Mariners did? You know, they didn't break a window this weekend. They broke the hearts of the Pirates.
No. That's better than
they broke the will of the Pirates.
Maybe it's better to just not have transition at all.
They broke the will of the Pirates?
Yeah, just do a Bob Stelton every once in a while. Meanwhile,
the Mariners took out the Pirates. I mean, that's
meanwhile, I went from weed eating to T-Mobile Park.
Yeah. Speaking of weed eating, you know what? When I watch the games at T-Mobile, I think to myself, boy, they do a lot of great weed eating down there. There's no weeds. It's terrible.
Yeah, something like that anyway.
I like meanwhile.
Excuse me while I clear my throat.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You have a cough button?
I don't have a cough button in the she shed, okay? We used to have one there. Button? We used to have one at KJR. I don't know why you can't get one for me here on the podcast. I do have the Ethernet cable, though. And I'm a little concerned about it. And my biggest concern is that I've heard from some people who find it entertaining and amusing and somehow relatable, all the problems that I have with this podcast. And I'm not amused at all, and it really bothers me, and I want to be up to speed with things. So I went to Amazon.com, and my thanks to Sean Wally, who helped me out with this, okay, because I had no idea what I was doing. And I got an Ethernet cable. Here it is right here. You see it? You see it right there? Little cable. I know
what an Ethernet cable looks like.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe someone else out there does it because I didn't know what it was going to look like when I got it.
Yeah, so
I got 100 feet of it to make sure that I could go all the way to the modem to the shed. And I got the adapter to plug into Kathy's computer. And then I find out that you tell me that even though I'm plugged in, that I somehow might still be on the old Wi-Fi, the what do you call it? The wireless Wi-Fi. Why the hell would that be? If I'm plugged in, why can't they be smart enough in cyber world to know that I'm plugged in and just go, hey, he's plugged in today. We don't have to go wireless because he's wired up.
Hey, perhaps I'm wrong on this one, but I still do think if you are plugged in to the Ethernet and then you're still on Wi-Fi, the computer may, I mean, listen, we're getting into the weeds here, a couple of real computer experts like us, that your computer may still be, the default may be the Wi-Fi rather than the Ethernet. Now, maybe I'm wrong.
But we'll find out, right?
It works that way on my computer.
We'll find out if it lags, then we know, because it shouldn't lag if I'm plugged in.
No, your Ethernet you should always plug in if you can.
Okay, but when you plug in, if you don't get the 3 full bars, are you still at the mercy of that?
If you still got the 3 full bars, well, you really won't see the 3 full bars because it's not Wi-Fi. You're plugged directly into the internet. You're getting the full meal deal of the internet. Hey, why don't you just have you responded back to that great listener follower that sent me an email that I forwarded to you?
Yeah,
did you respond back to him?
I did, and I told him, I go, look, I forgot his name already, but he's really nice. David? Yeah.
David Savala. He says, hey, Jason, I'm thinking about taking a road trip in the next couple of weeks. I was looking at Bend. Would you run this offer by Jim? This is David sent back a week ago. I'll set up all of his tech stuff and troubleshoot anything he needs. I did advanced tech support for Apple. So I think we know what he knows what he's talking about. And I have a certification in pretty much everything tech related. Would just ask for a round of golf and an introduction to any of the brewery owners that he knows in town. That's all you got to do.
Well, I could do the first part. I'm not so sure about the second, because as a starter at Quail Run Golf Course, I want to welcome everybody when they come to the greater Central Oregon area to go play it at my course. Okay. I played nine down there. I played nine down there last night. What?
You can promote it when they start paying for some advertising, okay?
Oh, Jesus. What? Quail Run.
We're not doing an infomercial for Quail Run.
Okay, my point is that I can help David out in that respect. I can give him a free round of golf. I don't really know any brewery owners down here, though.
Why don't you just go introduce yourself to a brewery owner and then just make it up to David? Or just take here's what I think that David would take. Instead of introducing him to a brewery owner, just take him to a brewery.
Okay, I could do that.
Do that.
But
David's willing to help you all out.
Right now, I might not need David's help because things seem to be working swimmingly.
Oh, no, right? Trust me. Give it time.
Give it time.
Give it time.
There's a little bit of a delay on your lips moving with the words, but I think I'm okay.
There's a little bit of delay. Well, see, there you go.
As long as we're on this topic, how do you do with digital coupons, like at Safeway? I mean, I have an idea of how they work now because I can go in there, the store that I'm at, the product I want, and then hit the little clip link thing. And then when I check out, now I learned the hard way that when you check out, you got to make sure that you use the phone number that you clip the product with, because I used Kathy's phone number once. And I said to the gal, I go, hey, this thing's not working today. And she goes, oh, what phone number did you use? And I was like, oh, okay, I got it. But it's still, I don't want to swear, but I kind of do. I effing hate digital coupons. And I know that they're doing it for a reason, just to mess with us. And probably, there's all this marketing campaign bullshit they're doing. But it has to drive people nuts. If it drives me nuts, it has to drive other people nuts. Digital coupons. And then you don't really want to, sometimes I'll buy that product anyway. I'm going, shit, it's not worth 50 cents for me to save or $1 to go through the headache of wondering if that clipping that I'm doing is working. But then other times I'm going, God, I just can't buy it if I don't know how to get the digital price. It's irritating and annoying, and I'm still mystified by the whole thing and the whole process.
Yeah, I don't do it. I don't.
You don't do it. Why?
I don't do digital coupons. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, but you save money.
How much money are you saving?
Are you making that much? $5 a month? Puck's Posse members? Have you mentioned that yet?
You just detailed how awful it was and like all this shit you got to go through. And then
no, but that's just me at 68. People at 28 are probably like, God, that old bastard. It's not that tough. Jesus.
I don't know why. I just don't. I just don't do it. It has nothing to do with saving money or not saving money or whatever. I don't know. I just go in there, and when I go to, I try to limit my visits to Safeway. So maybe that's part of it.
They're not as cheap as I used to think they were.
Safeway
I always used to think I'm going to go to Safeway instead of QFC.
Yeah,
because QFC was more expensive. But now I'm trying to go to Walmart more often. But that's a pain in the ass. I don't know. There's too many people in the parking lot, and it's just
They let you camp there in the Walmart parking lot down in Bend. They still do that.
Yeah, they got RVs in the back lot. Yeah,
I remember that. I remember they stopped that in Pullman a while back. They used to be able to do it, and they stopped it.
You're such a big deal that you don't have to use digital coupons?
No, I don't go to Safeway. That's why I don't. So if I have to go to Safeway, I buy like 2 things and I get out.
Well, Fred Meyer has them too. You have to hassle with coupons.
Don't go to Fred Meyer. Go to QFC.
They don't have. They're not in the digital world of coupons yet.
They may, but they always have the discounts on already, and then you just go up, and if you have the card, even if you don't have the card at QFC, they're like, "Do you have a card?" No. Okay. And then they just click the card up at the register anyways, and you get all the money off no matter what. So,
well, do you do the Safeway gas discount thing? I like that. You haven't gotten discounts on gas yet?
Sure, but I avoid Safeway. It's the worst grocery store in the world. It's awful. There goes the potential sponsorship from Safeway.
What's wrong with Safeway? I like Safeway.
Safeway's going out of business, I'll tell you that.
What's wrong with Safeway?
Just the ones by my house are just terrible.
Oh.
Just awful.
How about Albertsons? You going to look down on Albertsons too?
Oh, I don't have an Albert. There's only like one Albert. I think the only Albertsons I know is in Magnolia.
Albertsons in the Renton Highlands. I used to go there all the time, and I miss Rose. She was a Husky fan and always gave me a hard time.
Okay, yeah. Rose.
So shout out to Rose.
Hey, shout out to Rose.
On the very slim chance that she's listening to this.
Boy, how many people have turned it off already when we got into grocery store talk?
Well, maybe more people turned it on. Maybe somebody's listening going, hey, you know what? They're talking about grocery store. Yeah.
What grocery store do you like to go to?
I don't know. I'm just
surprised. Are you a Trader Joe's guy? Everybody in my neighborhood goes to Ballard Market. Well, that's like going to, you might as well just hand over 15 paychecks when you go there. Or the Met Market's right by my house. You know what a Met Market is? Yeah. I mean, that's another, like, Jesus.
It's like God. Well, Lakemont Town and Country, the high-end grocery store type place. There's one down here called Newport Market, and this is embarrassing, and you're going to think, geez, you must be doing pretty good with Social Security on a fixed income. What do you do?
A hot tub,
I bought a $10 loaf of bread yesterday.
$10?
It's from the Sisters Bakery. It's a sourdough loaf of bread, and it's sliced, and it's ready to go, and I just find that it's worth it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you don't go to an actual bakery, but if you actually go to a grocery store, is there any bread in there that's not sliced? Because you seemed real excited when you said, hey, I get this sourdough loaf of bread. It was sliced.
Well, because usually when you buy a sourdough, so if you say, I'm going to get some sourdough bread, it's, it comes in that plastic bag and it's not sliced yet.
Yeah.
But this one comes in the plastic bag that has the little, fastener thing on it. I don't know. I know it's ridiculous that I spent $10 on a loaf of bread because what's the tip for a loaf? Like what's it like if you're going to buy Wonder Bread? What's that cost? Like $3, $4?
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, but
does anybody eat Wonder Bread anymore?
My neighbor across the street, that's from Augusta, does when she makes the pimento cheese sandwiches. Yeah, that's what she uses.
Like Wonder Bread. Does anyone buy Velveeta cheese?
Oh, I don't know about that. Velveeta cheese.
Is that really cheese?
Velveeta? No, I don't think so. Let's look. What's in Velveeta cheese? You know what it is? You know what it's going to say? Not cheese.
Yeah. Does it say on the little thing, with the ingredients, it doesn't say could cause cancer. It says will cause cancer. Jesus. I mean, there's got to be so many different different, I don't know, names.
According to the web, Velveeta is a pasteurized recipe cheese product, not technically cheese by the FDA, containing milk, whey, milk protein concentrate, and other ingredients like canola oil and various additives. Yeah, not cheese.
It melts really well, though.
Well, sure, it's Velveeta. Why wouldn't you? I wonder why we're all fat in America. I can't remember when I
had Velveeta. I think it was in my college days the last time I had Velveeta.
Velveeta?
Yeah.
Yeah. Spam?
Spam?
You're kind of into Spam, huh?
I'm okay with Spam.
Really?
Yeah.
Me
used
too.
to, at the Rotunda there, Gannon, when I was at Gannon Hall, we ate at the Rotunda. They'd have liver and onions some nights.
Oh, come on.
I would get liver and onions when I had the option of that and something else. It sounds gross, but I enjoyed it.
Well, I've had it. Yeah, I like it. I don't think I would have it at the Rotunda at WSU. I'd have it like at a good restaurant.
No, it was okay.
Oh, man, you are taking your life into your own hands.
Yeah.
Liver and onions.
Squeak would serve it up. Her name was Squeak because she talked like this.
God, how do you remember what the woman's name was? That's like how long? That's 40 years ago? 45?
More than that. More than that. I graduated in 78.
Good God.
Squeak.
Squeak. How about your recall on that one? All right. Meanwhile, the Mariners.
God, I feel like I'm working with Stelton again.
Yeah. They swept the Pirates.
Here with Jim Moore. I've got a deep voice.
How about that performance over the weekend? They swept them. They held them to no runs. Not a single damn run.
Amazing. I thought for sure the Pirates would score yesterday, at least 1 or 2 runs, maybe 3 after they got Kirby out of the game. But it was phenomenal what the Mariners did over the weekend. There's no other word to use. Outstanding, terrific. You can't find any fault in what they did this weekend. And it's so strange being a baseball fan. Imagine Pittsburgh sports radio this morning. They've got to just be going off on the Pirates. And yet Last week, the Pirates came to town here in Seattle with a 6-game winning streak, and they had just recorded 3 shutouts of their own. And then they come here and get shut. I mean, you look at that Pirates lineup, and I understand that the Mariners had just a hell of a pitching performance by all 3 guys with Castillo and Woo and Kirby, but still, I mean, they're probably looking at their lineup and thinking, I mean, is that Pirates lineup worse than the Mariners lineup, or is it just that the Mariners pitching was that good?
Well, it's worse. That's a worse lineup than what the Mariners throw at you.
And then you can also factor in that that's a team that's only won 12 games on the road this year.
God, is that it?
Yeah, I just looked at it. They're 12-32 on the road.
Yeah, and then they just have this generational pitcher that, I mean, my God, they can't. This guy goes out and strikes out 10 in 5 innings, is like unhittable. Throws 78 pitches. I don't know. I'd like to know why they decided after 78 pitches, this thoroughbred, they couldn't hit him, and like, oh, we're just going to take him out.
Yeah, like, we're just going to have you run 6 furlongs today, and we're not going to have you go a mile.
Yeah, that was
why
odd.
Not one more inning? Yeah, I mean, get him into like low 90s or whatever.
But like, is that where he's at? Is like he just can't throw more than that? He's coming off, I think, his last start. Hold on, I was just looking that up. Hold on, his last start was 88 pitches. I don't know that. I mean, and then a previous start was 78.
Especially when it's a scoreless game.
He's been at a lot. Like early on in the season, he was over 100 pretty routinely. So maybe they're trying to cut him back because since his last start, let's say June 19th, we threw 105. Other than his next 3 starts, he's been under 90. So maybe they're trying to.
I forget if it was the next inning or the first inning when he came out that Rosarina had the home run.
It was the next inning
after that. Yeah, well,
it was the 6th inning.
I'm a Pirates fan. I'm watching, going, what are we doing here?
Exactly, because because that's what they want to see, right? The Mariners want to see him come out of the game.
Yeah, and you can't really say they knocked him out of the game.
No, not at all. The Pirates manager knocked him out of the game. Like, you're done.
If they'd been ahead 3-0, okay, but 0-0 game when you haven't scored in the first 2 games of the series.
Maybe
and
that's
you got
why
your ace out there. Yeah, your horse, like you're saying. I didn't understand that part of it.
Maybe that's why they're 38-43 or 38-53. Maybe that's why.
It could be. Yeah.
And then on the other side,
it was fantastic.
Yeah, and then on the other side, it's not an individual, matchup between the two, but even George Kirby acknowledged it. I mean, you know who's going on the other side, and for Kirby to come out there and to go 6 1/3, strike out 9, he's been fantastic. Not give up a single run. He knows the other guy over there, and even though it's a team game, I mean, that's who said it yesterday. Maybe it was on the radio. It's baseball is a great sport because it's the most individual team sport there is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so
true.
I mean, he was great. I mean, he's given up 1, 2 earned runs in his last 3 starts. Back to the start of Minnesota.
No, the Mariners, and no one can understand it, but they've done this against the other team's ace from time to time. They did it against Max Fried, and they flashed that graphic on Ridge Sports, and Skubal, they beat him here in Seattle in an afternoon game. And then we got Kirby and Skubal going at it again on Saturday when they go to Detroit.
Right.
Yeah, the Mariners are just such a weird team. They're fun to follow, though. The ups and downs, there's never really any consistency with them. They're either really good or really shitty, and it just goes back and forth, and you never know when it's going to happen. Like you go to New York and you got the Yankees tomorrow, and the Yankees are reeling a little bit. They've lost 6 of 7. They won a game against the Mets yesterday, but you think, okay, all right, Mariners might be better than the Yankees. They're a game behind them right now, 49-41 for New York and 48-42 for the Mariners, but who knows? Maybe they'll lose 10-0 tomorrow, and we'll go back to thinking, God, the Mariners just aren't that good.
The problem is that, like, okay, so in the wild card, they're kind of fine right now because
they're in great shape in the wild card.
But it's because they're only a game. You just mentioned it. They're just only a game back of both the Yankees and the Rays, and they got 2.5 game lead up on the Red Sox. But they can't catch. They can't do anything with the frickin' Astros. They're
Why,
7
why are they
games
so,
back.
Puck, why are they so good? I haven't really been following them, but every day that the Mariners win, I think, okay, they're going to be 6 behind now and not 7 anymore. And then the Astros just continue to win.
They just swept the Dodgers.
The Astros almost have the best record in baseball. The Tigers do by, a game and a half. The Tigers are 57-34, and Houston's 55-35.
They held that offense to 6 runs in 3 games.
And their pitching isn't supposed to be one of their strengths, is it?
Except they got banged up. Well, Brown's good and Valdez is good, but they had injuries all over the place. You asked,
and weren't those games were at Dodger Stadium, weren't they?
Yes. They beat him. The first game, they beat him 18-1. Obliterated him.
Yeah.
You ask me how. I mean, I really don't. I mean, Altuve's been great after a slow start. Pena, the same story, even though dealing with an injury. Other than it's just in their DNA to win games. I just think
I think that explains it more than anything else. That they're just, hey, we're the Houston Astros, and we're used to winning down here. I don't know if you've noticed that, but we're pretty good, and we're pretty good year after year after year. And so there's something to that, the culture down there.
Yeah, I just think they're winners. I think it starts with the top, and I just think that it goes throughout the whole organization from the ownership all the way down. I mean, they've got guys on there they've just won. I mean, now some of the they've Bregman gone and Tucker gone and some of those guys, but they have people still. They have a few guys still remaining, from those championship teams. And I just think that despite all the turmoil and all the stuff they've gone through over the years and self-inflicted, obviously, but yeah, they're just winners. They just win.
But don't you think, and maybe it's just because of what we saw recently with the Mariners, that, 7 games down, do you really think they're going to fall 10 games down? Don't you think it's more likely that all of a sudden, after the All-Star break, we're going to look at them and go, geez, they're 3.5 back right now. They're making a little push here, especially with the pitching coming around the way they have it with, and even Logan Evans, as a 5th starter, it's serviceable. So, yeah. And Castillo, I was in the camp of thinking that Castillo might be, still in his prime, but getting near the twilight, maybe too many innings. Mm-hmm. His arm was starting to wear out a little bit, but he's proven me wrong, and other people in that camp that thought that he might be on the downside of his career. God, he just looks fantastic, doesn't he?
Oh, well, he was. I mean, the start on Saturday, yeah. I mean, to go 7 innings to strike out 8. I mean, he was great, 2 hits. I mean, he was phenomenal. I mean, they all were. Every starter was great. Just everything about them, yeah. And I mean, the pitching staff, and again, they didn't score a ton of runs, but okay, fine. But if they get, that type of, they're going to run into better offenses than what they saw with the Pirates here in the last 3 games. But it's 7 games, and that's not a huge deficit for them to make up. It's not. I mean, but they need Houston to drop off, and they need more consistency from their offense to kind of carry them on a big winning streak. But no one should on July 7th. What the season's going to run for another couple months? No, I mean, wouldn't ride them off.
I think it's more likely they make a run than fall farther behind.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
but I think you'd also agree with the fact that they score 8 runs in a 3-game series. If you said before the series started, hey, they're going to score 8 runs this weekend at T-Mobile, you would have thought they'd go 1-2, maybe 2-1 if they were lucky.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, so the All-Star selections, they got the second most right in baseball.
Well, I was sitting there thinking about that. They tied the Tigers
for the most in the American League, and
with 4,
but second behind the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers had 5, so they have the second most, tied for the second most in baseball with obviously Cal. Cal's the biggest story. One of the biggest stories in baseball in the first half. JP, well-deserved. Bryan Woo, well-deserved. But then we get to the 4th one.
Well, JP didn't make it.
Oh, what am I saying? Why did I say JP? Who am I thinking? Oh, Munoz. My God. Thank you. Why did I say JP?
Because he should have made it over Julio.
Scratch that. Not JP. God, why did I blank on that? I meant, Munoz. Thank you for catching. Well, JP didn't make it, so it wasn't well-deserved. Yeah, Munoz. Jesus. Lord. Drinking too early.
Well, okay, help me with this.
Let's start with the positive
because
first.
You were wrong about something. Well, how does it work in the reserves? Who picks the reserves? Is
Players.
still the fans factor into that at all?
No, players.
Okay, because I thought, well, maybe if the fans factored in, okay, that would explain why the Mariners have 4 representatives. I would say they should only have 3. And I think most people would agree that Julio wasn't deserving this year.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to, someone's got to explain, and we got to do this. We all love Julio, but someone's got to explain to me why Julio's an all-star.
I think even Julio must have been surprised by the selection.
Come on. It's not, he just, there's no way you can, what argument would someone, I'd like to hear the argument for him to make it. What is it? That his overall WAR
because
is
his
like
defensive metrics are really good. Like, I don't know where he rates as center fielders.
There's guys above him who have the same. That kid from Boston beats him in every category. Every one. The Rafaela kid. Every category is better than him.
Did he make it too?
No.
Well,
George Springer's had a better season. Joe Adell with the Angels had a better season. Cody Bellinger's had a better season. Like, there's just like,
have we ever had this before? And maybe I'm blowing this out of proportion, but has there ever been a Mariner selected to the All-Star game and we're thinking, God, why in the world did they pick him? I mean, usually it's like, hey, that's cool that they spotted him up in Seattle, whoever it is, and saw that he was a really good player. But and you know me, I'm just old school. But that OPS of 694 that he has, and the unclutch factor that he has going on, it just doesn't warrant being an all-star player.
I think
he's still a good player, but he's not a great player.
He's a good player. He's not having an all-star season.
No, what's he got? One home run in the last month and a half or something?
I mean, he's hitting 247 with a 695 OPS. His 695 OPS is 7th among center fielders in the American League.
Was it Saturday that he struck out with the bases loaded? Is there anyone when there's runners in scoring position that feels like Julio's going to come through anymore?
I don't want to. I almost don't want to go down this road anymore with Julio, because when you do this, it just angers people. Oh, look what his clutch stats are. I'm just telling you, I am with you. When he comes up with runners on in a clutch situation, I just say to myself, he's not going to come through.
Well, you think how's he going to strike out this time? I always think, how's he going to strike out? Will it be, called third strike looking that's borderline? Will he swing at a sweeper that's out of the zone?
I mean, he's not clutch. I don't know why people think he is. He's just not.
No.
Just not.
No, and we want him to be clutch so badly.
We do.
We really do, because if you're a superstar, you should come through when the spotlight's the brightest more often than he does. And I think that's fair to say. And I like Julio, and we love his passion for the game and the no-fly zone and everything about him. But he shouldn't be in the All-Star game this year.
I think it's a lot of reputation. He's well liked among the players in the league. He's just a very popular player. And so they vote. It's a popularity contest. So in some regards, it is. And I think for him, it was a popularity contest over the Rafaela guy for Boston, Adell for the Angels. I mean, Joe Adell has had a far better season than Julio Rodriguez. I mean, okay, well, they're 248, 323, 500, 823 OPS. That's his slash line. 19 home runs and 52 runs driven in. Now, all
better than Julio.
The sabermetrics want to say, well, what is his WRC plus? It's 129. Julio's is 101. So he beats him there. George Springer, 281, 374, 512, 886, 16 home runs, 53 runs driven in. His OPS plus 143, 6 in, I don't know if that's 6 in baseball or 6 in the American League.
What, he's not playing?
No. It was Buxton and Kwan and Julio.
Well, they still need to take one player from every team, but yeah.
Cody Bellinger, 268, 326, 463 slugging, 789 OPS. OPS plus 120. I mean, there's 4 guys who have been better than him. How about this one? How about this? His OPS plus is the 51st OPS plus in the American League. Someone sent this to me, and again, it's just like we're just using two stats here, but this honestly, in a weird, sick way, puts it in perspective. When was Rowdy Tellez cut? Like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. 683 OPS. Julio 695. Rowdy Tellez had 11 home runs when he was cut 3 weeks ago. It's the same amount of Julio Rodriguez right now.
So on that basis, should Rowdy have been considered for the All-Star game too?
So based on that, why is it Tellez in?
No, that is strange. I know that people would explain to me why Tellez was cut. I get it. But how often is a guy with 11 home runs in the middle of June cut from a team?
There's Kathy. Good morning to you.
Like not very often.
Ready to go?
Where are you going? Going to PT?
Hey, Puck.
Hi, buddy. How are you? There's Kathy making an appearance out in the sheet.
You don't say hi, buddy, to a female. You say,
why not?
Kath.
I think you can say hi, buddy. I think you're allowed to.
Maybe girls say hi, buddy, to each other.
Yeah,
but...
fair point.
Okay.
Well taken.
Yeah.
So are we being too hard? Because I know what people are going to say. We're being too hard on Julio. We're going to bash on Julio. I think everybody just wants Julio to be the player we all think he can be. And for him, fine. He's going to the All-Star game. But to me, it's just not deserving. I think there's other players there that, unfortunately for them, deserve to go over him.
No, Puck, I think fans feel the same way. A lot of them anyway. I read Adam Jude's story about the All-Star selections for the Mariners, and then I looked at the comments section.
Yeah.
The first 10 comments were like, Julio, who are you kidding? Why is he going? Yeah. So, fans get it. The thing is, you can be happy for Julio that he made it, but wonder why he made it. And that's fair to do that. And if I'm the manager, I don't even know who the manager is of the American League All-Star team, but Julio should be the last pinch hitter that I'm going to use in this game. He should be. Like, Julio shouldn't play in the game. If you're going to, if you're trying to weigh out, gee, should I play this guy or someone from the A's?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the guy from the A's. I don't even know who made it from the A's, but he's probably more deserving to be there than Julio is.
It's Aaron
Boone. Is it Rooker? Who is it? Who's
Aaron
the A's?
Boone is the manager.
Oh, okay.
So you don't want him to. You want Aaron Boone to say you're the last one going in.
Yeah, I do. Don't you? Wouldn't that be? Like what? If you're an A's fan and you don't get to see your player and you see this guy that's hitting 247 in the batter's box.
Yeah. In
the All-Star game, that doesn't make sense, does it?
Well, and then a lot of it is you look ahead to the second half of the season he has to be, we're going to talk about what players they should add at the deadline. What help, should they get for this offense, which they should do all those things. But he needs to be better. He has to be better. And we just say this this is just it's But he usually is.
The thing is he usually is.
I agree, he usually is, but I feel like at one point, when is he not going to be? Is there going to be a time where he's not better there in the second half of the season? We'll see. I just feel like we're always expecting him to do this because he does it every year, and maybe he'll do it again. This is just him, moving forward. But God, is there one season where he doesn't do it? Is there one season where he doesn't have a good second half?
It might be another year where we go, oh, maybe we shouldn't have been doubting him because this is how his career has gone, where he's a slow starter into the middle of the season, and then he just takes off like gangbusters. But he's coming off a 3-for-28 homestand with 10 strikeouts. So that's when is he going to get it going?
And how many runners did he leave stranded in that time? You know that?
Yeah. One time the base is loaded, so there's 3.
No.
So it got one guy in the comment section of the Seattle Times. I thought it was pretty good that he came up with it. Calls him Rodriguez. I thought, that's kind of creative, and it's not very. It's mean spirited, but
of course, yeah. Well,
I'm into mean spirited from time to time.
Who is it?
Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah. The American League is going to get squashed in this game, by the way.
You think?
Look at the starters. Cal, we love Cal. Vlad, Gleyber Torres at second, Ramirez at third, Jacob Wilson at short, Judge, Green, Baez in the outfield, and Ryan O'Hearn. Those are your starters. Here are the starters for the National League. Okay, Will Smith. Okay, kind of a wash. Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte at second, Manny Machado at third, Lindor at short, Acuna, Crow Armstrong, Tucker in the outfield, and Ohtani the DH. Jesus Christ. They're just going to obliterate them.
All right, I'll take the American League for $20.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And.
Because whenever you say stuff like that, I mean, you're wrong so often. Like I am too. But I know what you're saying makes sense, and they're going to be favored. But it's an all-star game. I mean, you can't really predict who owns the all-star game anyway. Isn't there one team that's way ahead of the other? I forget.
Yeah, the American League.
Okay, so and you're going against those odds. The American.
I'm going to
go against. You're going against history.
Yeah, I'm going to go against history. It's got to turn around.
All right,
doesn't it? It has to turn around.
So we're going $20.
$20. I'm going to take the National League. Remember this bet because I wrote it down, but now I guarantee that I will forget it. All right, Jim Moore, that's it for us today. It was wonderful. It looked like the Ethernet worked for you. Good news. So maybe it was just the Ethernet was the only issue.
Well, I'll check to find out in the settings. Oh. So I go to settings and turn off the Wi-Fi. I don't turn off the Wi-Fi, do I?
Yes, you would, but you just need to make sure it'll say LAN. Make sure that's connected.
LAN.
That's the Ethernet.
I'll do it.
Text David or email David.
Was this better that everything worked the way it should work, or is it better when I always cut out when I'm?
It's better for me. I maybe for the viewers they like when things crash out. It's better for me.
Okay.
I enjoy it when everything works properly. All right.
I'm happy for you, and I'm happy for Dylan Moore because he's been a punching bag. He was 1 for 38, and he hit a home run. So I'm happy for Dylan Moore. Everyone who loves Dylan Moore could celebrate on Friday.
So are we back on the Dylan Moore train?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, the caboose of the train, but we're on the train.
All right, there he is, Jim Moore, the go-to guy with us on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, all brought to you by A Clean Streak, a professional window exterior cleaning services. All right, we'll talk to you again on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah, I was going to talk to you about that. I got to do another shift as course marshal. But then after that, and then I'm going to Montana.
Okay.
So it'll be on the road.
Text me when you're available, and we'll squeeze you into your busy schedule. There he is, Jim Moore.
Okay, go Cougs.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk to Bill Krueger, Old School Baseball. But before we talk to Bill, let's get a word from one of our proud sponsors, Georgetown Brewery.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
All right, we go from Jim Moore now to Bill Krueger. Boy, that's an upgrade. There's no doubt about that. Bill Krueger, Old School Baseball. You can find it on all the podcast platforms and follow him on social media, _MLB. 13 years covering, not covering, but being in baseball, and you know what, his whole lifetime covering the sport. How was your 4th of July weekend? Everything good?
It was great. You know, the weather was pretty good. It got a little cool on 4th of July evening. But you know the story, if you've got a friend that has a boat, that's the best way to access a boat. So we have friends with a boat, really good friends. So we had fun over at their house and had a great 4th of July party, and then went out on the boat and went and watched some fireworks, and a little chilly on the boat ride, but it was a wonderful day. Family in town, my daughter, and we just had a great time.
Well, what was
a
great? Similar. Just went over to Idaho with the family, and
nice.
to my it was good. It was good. Very low key 4th of July. Not as good as the Mariners were. How about that transition?
No.
Great homestand or a great sweep there of the Pirates, especially from a pitching perspective. I mean, you look at Woo, Castillo, and Kirby. Don't give up a run, Bill. You got to love this. 25 strikeouts and 2 walks in the 3 starts from those starters.
Well, this is a great group, and they're starting to come together. And what this team is built around is starting to come to the place where they thought it would be, outside of not having Bryce Miller. But certainly Logan Evans has made a really nice imprint so far in his young career. But this was just, I mean, the Pirates are not good, and the Pirates are very right-handed, and they have no left-handed presence in their lineup. So it was really, I mean, I called the sweep, and I didn't expect it to be 3 shutouts, but I'm not surprised. So dominance from the right-hand side, no left-hand hitting in the Pirate lineup. The Pirates just aren't very good. And, you got to take those teams and you got to beat them to death, man. You can't let them up for air. And the Mariners didn't. They took it to them and made that homestand have a great finish.
Bill, it's probably the most individual team sport that we have. I mean, basketball can be like that as well at times, but I mean, there's so many individual matchups in the sport of baseball. George Kirby had to be thinking in the back of his mind, even though he's not going up against Paul Skenes per se, but he knows who's over there pitching for the Pirates. And you've been in that position before. Starters want to impress or pitch good against other great starters. And boy, God, he did that on Sunday. And they both were spectacular.
They were both spectacular. They both traded strikeout for strikeout, more or less. Dominance, dominating lineups. I mean, George was, at his finest. I mean, he was sharp breaking stuff, great control, hitting spots with his fastball, not just hitting the strike zone, but hitting spots. And of course, Skenes is even more unique, a more array of pitches, big upside. And seeing Skenes I've seen him a little bit. I saw him a little bit last year. His control is way better. He's gotten more polish to his game. But just in talking about George, I think his slider's improved. And his curveball was a little better. He only threw like 5 curveballs. He threw a number of sliders, and they were all very good. And his mixture between his fastball and his two-seam fastball with movement, and then hitting the top corner and the inside of the outside part of the plate, he pretty much just manhandled them. They just couldn't really do anything with him. Actually, the Mariners hit Skenes more than the Pirates hit Kirby. And Kirby could have kept going, but he went more than normal, I guess. I find the effort that the Pirates made with Skenes it's almost like intervention. It's like, do we need to have the commissioner come in and say, hey, you guys got to try? 78 pitches. There's a reason why he has a terrible record. It's a terrible team. But, Steve Carlton, I don't remember what year it was, but he played for a very, very horrible St. Louis Cardinal team back in the 60s. And I think he won 20 games one year, and they were a terrible team because he pitched deep in games. That's what nobody's talking about. Skenes at 78 pitches should have kept pitching. You're looking for the marquee matchup. Skenes should have a chance to go through the middle lineup again. Why not? What's holding them back from pitching him some more? Why did he have to come out at 78? These guys, you know where I'm coming from with this on this puck, but these guys are at the peak of their capability. They are racehorses. They are secretariat. They need to run the distance. That doesn't mean they have to go 9, although it was nice to see Wheeler go 9 yesterday.
Oof,
what a yeoman effort that must have been. Must have been some blessing from the gods up above that gave him such an inordinate strength that he could go 9 innings. Oh, my goodness, right? But he did. It was nice to see a complete game. Skenes isn't going to throw a complete game, but Skenes should have pitched some more. And that, to me, is disappointing. Fans are disappointed. The matchup, the whole thing is disappointing. It's hurting him as a pitcher not to pitch more. So I don't know if I heard anything after the game, but I just didn't hear anything at all. So I don't get it.
I think a lot of people didn't understand it, especially, and then in the very inning when they bring in the reliever, boom, that's when they get the run, the solo shot there from Randy Rosarina. Yeah, it didn't make sense. Other than I don't know if they want to pull the throttle back on him pitching wise. This is kind of a trend in his last 3 starts where he hasn't even. I don't think he's even broken 90. Before that, he was over 100 almost in every start. So I don't know. He is fun to watch. They were fun to watch. It's just a sometimes for a lot of fans, maybe the pitching duel is not the sexiest thing in the world. But I don't know. I think some of us old school people like it. I appreciate it anyway, whether it's a lot of offense or a lot of great pitching and defense. The All-Star selections that came out, they get 4: Bryan Woo, Julio, Cal, and Andres Munoz. You've talked a lot about Bryan Woo. I think it's 17 for 17 now this season, where he's gone 6 innings or more in every single start. Just well deserving because he's had a hell of a season. Bill, how's Bryan Woo?
He's been great. So consistent, like you say, quality start after quality start. And his numbers are excellent. He's tough to hit. His ERA in 2.7. Great walk to strikeout ratio. Tough to hit, unique style, and so much a pitcher, not a thrower. A guy that's pitching inside the strike zone and winning counts. And that's why he's able to pitch deeper in games and staying healthy and very humble to the task, very thoughtful in his appreciation. Certainly thrilled to be there. Certainly thought in his own mind that he deserved to be there. And glad that he got the nod. I mean, there were other competitors. Joe Ryan, the pitcher for Minnesota, very similar, but they gave it to Woo, which is fantastic. I love it. I love Bryan, and he's got a great story. A converted infielder, sort of close to my heart. A position player converted to pitcher, didn't have much of a college career as a pitcher, and here he is in the All-Star game.
What's the turn he's made, both physically and mentally, that you've seen?
Well, I think he understands better what he's got, and that his fastball can be so unique that it's a dominating pitch. He throws it 70% of the time. He's able to sink the baseball, or I should say ride the baseball, and then also throw a four-seamer at the top line. But he spots his fastball very well. Even though the way he kind of dips and he has a low arm slot and he kind of forward leads his elbow a little bit. It's a little scary, as far as how well he's going to be able to stay in one piece. He's a really strong kid. He's going to have to stay very strong, total body strength and stuff to overcome the fact that he's putting a lot of pressure on his elbow. He's had 2 TJs. So there's a reason why, by the style of pitcher, the way he throws the baseball, but that's who he is. And what he's done too is he's refined his breaking stuff, and he's gotten better with it. Slider is basically the money pitch. Every once in a while, he'll sweep it, throw it a little bit slower, and make it go east-west. And changeup's still a work in progress, but he has one. And those pitches are incorporating better, and he's spotting them in the right places in games. Smart kid. He's such a good athlete. People underestimate what athleticism means, but we've seen him bounce off the mound, and he can really play his position. He can really field, because his infield skills, and he's just a good athlete, and he repeats so well. He's very, very consistent in how he delivers the baseball, and that's why he's able to do what he does with it, the way he's able to hit spots. I mean, you watch, Logan Gilbert, who's got all these moving parts, 6'6", and hands go behind his neck, and it's just lots of elbows and coming at you, and you can't pick up the baseball. That makes it hard for him to be able to hit spots like Woo. Woo is very compact and very repeatable, where Logan's a little more deceptive, a different style of pitcher, whereas Logan he's going to have to figure out how to clean his delivery up a little bit, so that he can locate his fastball, because throwing it 29-30% of the time, we're changing topics here, but Logan's got some maturation in that regard to do, where Woo's there. He doesn't have to change anything. He just needs to continue to refine his breaking stuff and keep doing, wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. It's good to see where he has been from a year ago now, to this point in his career, and sharing the conversations he had with his parents, learning of the news, just how excited he was, and he's just been great. He's had a hell of a season, with all the injuries that they dealt with this year with this rotation. For him, of all people, right, that is a guy that's been plagued by kind of these little knick-knack injuries, to be the one that's been the constant of that rotation. Is kind of you never know.
But we saw his talent.
Yeah, for sure. Andres Munoz, another All-Star, second All-Star nod, 20 saves. He's got an ERA of 1.09. Opponents hitting 136 off him. He just continues to be just dominant. And it's breathtaking at times to watch him throw the baseball.
Yeah, when he gets proper rest, we saw him this weekend with some rest, and he was electric. Fastball 100 miles an hour. He was landing his fastball. When he lands his fastball for a strike, for a right-hand hitter, it's over. It's just over. He's got a little work to do to get better against lefties, but that wasn't exposed against the Pirates. He did throw Horwitz change up in and a slider in. I'm like, fly ball right to the track.
What does he need pitch. What does he need to do better against?
Well,
lefties?
You have to be aware when you're closing games. You have to understand the park, and you have to understand where you need to pitch in order to stay away from the long ball. Mm-hmm. And he's made some mistakes with breaking stuff. Balls middle in, left-hand hitters have hurt him on occasion, but we're nitpicking. He is completely impossible for right-hand hitters. He just overwhelms them. It's not even close. And he's got such a great makeup. Again, he's sort of like Cal Raleigh. Very humble, very team-orientated, very approachable, still very competitive, but just such a quality guy. The Mariners have a lot of quality people on the team. It's refreshing. Because sometimes you can be really good, but you may not have that many great guys in your team that you love to talk to, you love to talk about, because they're just so well put together and they're so team orientated, right? So kudos to Munoz. The sky's the limit. We've seen him be able to mess around with a changeup, which is great. It's an important pitch for him against left-handers, and as long as they're able to keep him get the proper rest, because he again is a guy with not a perfect delivery, so he does stress his body a little bit when he throws the baseball because he flies open a little bit. But if they keep him from not getting overused, it's a tricky thing because the more he pitches is usually means the team's doing well, right? But you're just going to have to, every once in a while, Spire and Brash can take a 3-run lead and clean it up and let them finish games if he can't do it. And but it's a great story. He's a great young man. He's very talented, and I'm just happy for him.
Bill, your thoughts on the last member of the All-Star team we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about Cal, but we don't need to discuss why he was selected. Julio Rodriguez, I think it shocked many, and I think it shocked many Mariner fans as well. And maybe it even shocked himself. Surprised that he was voted as an All-Star there by the players.
Yes. Obviously, he's got a lot of respect from the players because he's got quite the package. And he's done some great things in his career already, from the defensive side, from the offensive side. But this year doesn't represent that. He's slugging 380. He's hitting, what, 250?
247, yeah.
247. I think I've been a bit of a critic of him offensively, that he's got a lot of work to do on his approach to hitting the baseball, and watching him in my opinion, progress in his career. It feels a little bit regression as far as the way he's approaching hitting. It just needs a makeover. And maybe, lightning will be caught in a bottle, and he'll see some stupid pitching that'll throw him bad sliders for strikes, and he's going to start, ripping the baseball. But if you throw him hard in and make him chase, it's over. Particularly from a right-handed pitcher.
Why is he so, Bill? Yeah. Why is he so late on pitches?
Because he's long to the ball. We've talked about it. He has a forward press. The bat head, if this is straight bat head, when he starts to make his move toward the ball, the bat head goes like this, and that's going to make him slower to come back around to the baseball. Okay, he needs to take and drop his elbow and flatten his bat a little bit, and think about taking that bottom hand quicker to the ball, right? That's what he needs to do. And if he does that, and he's short and compact, actually the double he hit yesterday, he was shorter to the ball there. He was a little shorter to the ball. I don't know, but it was a good swing. It was a good swing because it wasn't the long swing. And here, people talk about, or at least our broadcast team talks about how you got to get the ball in the air. Everybody talks about getting the ball in the air. Well, if he tries to get the ball in the air, what happens? He gets longer and swings harder. That's even worse. He needs to be shorter to the ball, because if you're shorter to the ball, Jason, then you have time to see the ball. You see the ball. He needs to know what ball he wants to hit, because he swings at balls you shake your head at, right? Balls off the plate in, balls off the plate away, balls in the dirt, balls above his head. It doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason, But then sometimes, you take enough at bats and you have talent, you're going to run into some pitches, and that's just not good enough. So in sort of saying, is that all-star quality? I don't think it is. Is he an elite defender? Yes. Can he run the bases? Yeah, he can steal bases. Not a great base runner. Not a great base runner. He makes mistakes. Not a great base runner at all. So don't say that he's a great base runner, because he's not. Now, when you look at the competition, the outfield is not as stacked as it's been in the past. I mean, Byron Buxton, of course, makes it. Judge is in there. But there were some guys that didn't get in there, but maybe aren't quite the defenders that he is. But Cody Bellinger, and I'm a better year than him. Center field.
Bellinger,
look up the numbers. Springer and Bellinger both had better years, and Altuve's having a better year. But then nobody thinks of Altuve in the same breath as you think of Rodriguez.
Well,
Here, look, if Rodriguez
and the guy in Boston, Rafaela, he's had a better year.
Rafaela, yeah, he's equal defender and having a better year offensively than Julio. And it's one thing to be a guy that's like, oh, but Julio's done it for 10 years. He's been an MVP. He's led the league in hitting. He's led the league in home runs. He's led the league in runs. And then he has somewhat of a soft first half. Then you get a hall pass because you've done this big body of work. To me, he's still on the upswing of his career. He still hasn't done it yet. So if you've done it already, like in the days when, at later stages of Cal Ripken's career or any of the other great stars, they got in because they were established great players that the All-Star Classic should have there. He's not there for me. Now, marketing is kind of put in there, kind of. Baseball's got him, and he's a face of the game, but he's not earning it. Juan Soto's not in the game. How about that?
Soto, Mookie Betts. Yeah, I mean, there's.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a reputation.
So do you understand that?
Yeah, it was a reputation vote by the players. It was not, because there's no way you can say based on what he put up in the first half that he was deserving of an all-star selection. And I think it actually would have been better for the organization and him had he not made it. Yeah. Maybe that's the carrot. Maybe it's the carrot in the second half he needed. Oh, he would perceive it as a snub. Okay, now I'm going to go out here. He always has, in his career, has been strong in the second half. Maybe that would have been maybe the carrot that he needed to even have a better second half of the season.
Yeah, I think you're right. From a human behavior, I'll show you kind of attitude that maybe he starts to fine tune his concentration and start to say, okay, well, I'm going to show the world that they made a big mistake not having me every year in the All-Star game because I'm that kind of player, right? And doesn't he get paid for this too? Isn't that part of his contract where he has to hit big awards? He gets paid for it. Doesn't he gets paid for this too, which is even doubly not so good. I mean, well, it's good for him, but.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the Mariners have to pay it. They're paying for him, and they're not happy. They can't be happy with what he's producing. Can they? They say all the right things.
Excuse me. Yeah, he made the All-Star game again. Yeah, that's a bonus or an escalator there in his contract. We don't need that. Yeah, he's just the one. I hate being glass half empty on this one. The one worry I have with him is that I think everyone is expecting him to have the July, August, and September that he's always had. And he has. He's delivered these last 3 months. He's always delivered in his career, in his young brief career. There's part of me that's wondering, what if it isn't this year? Like I feel like at some point maybe that's not going to happen.
Judging from what I'm watching, until he makes some adjustments, get a better ball to hit, be quicker to the ball. And we've talked about that ad nauseum. That he is so strong that if he gets short to the baseball. I mean, you've seen what Cal Raleigh's done now. Cal Raleigh is quicker. He's got a quicker bat, okay, than Julio. And that's why he makes better swing decisions, because he's quicker. And he's able to hit different kinds of pitches. That doesn't mean he doesn't strike out. He strikes out some, but he's just short of the baseball. And great hitters are short to the baseball. They're not long to the baseball. There's no great hitter that's long to the baseball. There just isn't. Now, some guys have got longer as their career went on, and they got real smart, and I saw a lot of them where they weren't the same cat they were, but they'd sit on pitches, they'd figure you out, and they could think along with you, and they could anticipate a little bit more, and then they could still do damage. But he shouldn't be that way. He should be able to get up there and just be this amazing package of power and speed and hit line drives and drive the ball in the alley and hit homers and play that unbelievable defense. He should be able to do that.
Bill Krueger, you know what? You're our all-star here on Puck Sports. He joins us every single Monday to talk baseball, old school baseball. You can find at the Old School Baseball podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Apple, including this segment every single week. Also, check out all his videos and content up on social media, _MLB. Thank you so much for sharing every single week. You truly are the best. I always look forward to these conversations, and we'll talk next week.
We make a good pair, Jason. Thanks for having me.
See you, Bill. We do make a good pair. Bill Krueger with us again every Monday, talking Mariners baseball. Good stuff on all the All-Stars, on Bryan Woo, certainly on Andres Munoz, so we don't need to go much detail about Cal Raleigh. And then, the conversation about Julio Rodriguez, which is, a good one, and it's, I'm not surprised. I don't want to say pleasantly surprised. I'm glad that people here in Seattle are not completely putting the Mariners glasses on when it comes to him and in terms of the season he's had, because that's what fans do, and that's okay. We can, as fans, we should be able to kind of defend our own. And there certainly has been times when our players, right, the ones that we root for, have been slighted by the national media or by players or whoever. And so we become defiant a little bit about those players. In this case, I think majority of Mariner fans who sat there and watched him just said, hey, man, he's a good player, but not deserving to go. And that's certainly the case. We'll get into more to that here in just a second with Hey, What the Puck. But big thanks to Bill Krueger for jumping on. And again, Bill Krueger with us every Mondays. If you came into that late, as always, Bill will be part of the full daily puck drop on both video and audio. So up there on YouTube and your podcast platforms, whichever one you choose. By the way, speaking of podcast platforms, Old School Baseball, give that a follow. That's Bill Krueger's podcast. Our appearances, or his appearance with me, also is on the Old School Baseball podcast. And follow him on social media, _MLB. It's just fun talking baseball with Bill and getting into really the weeds of the sport with him and all the nuances, the intricacies of baseball with him, and just talking about, Julio and his swing and how long it is and how long it takes him to get to the ball. That's why he's late on so many pitches. I really like going in depth through on Bryan Woo. And I think the fun thing is Bryan Woo is a great case study and just a guy that has progressively just gotten better and better and better and better with each game. And now his career is still very young. We always reference, or many people, you reference that point that he had when he was back in, what was it, last year in Boston, and the talking that Cal Raleigh had to him. Again, this is just another example of why Cal Raleigh is so valuable to the franchise, not only what he does on the field as a hitter, as a catcher, but what he did off the field, and the sit down that he had with Bryan Woo. Love what he said about his repeatable, his delivery and how repeatable it is. I was really struggling to find repeatable. I don't know if you noticed that, but I really was. And it is, and it's one of those things that you want to kind of teach every young player. The way he throws, it's so just, I don't know if it's effortless, but it's compact. The delivery, it's. We've talked about it before with Bill. It reminds me of how he throws, to like a really good free throw shooter in basketball, where they always have the same rhythm, whether it's one spin of the basketball, 2 dribbles down, set, count a second, shoot, whatever the ritual is before you actually take the shot. But, you watch Bryan Woo, and it's always the same. Always the same. Like every pitch he throws, every time he winds up, it looks exactly the same. So, yeah, he's impressive. And the use of the fastball 70+% of the time and how he locates it and just everything. He's an example of a pitcher that, I was watching a youth little league game yesterday, and I was watching a pitcher. It was really good, throwing so many curveballs like left and right. And I'm like, why are you throwing so many curveballs, especially at this age? Not to say, again, there's a debate back and forth whether it's at the 11, 12, 13 years old, like how much should you be throwing that or not? I'm not smart enough to understand that. I've heard both sides of the argument. Anyway, the point was, young kid wasn't locating it. I'm like, why do you keep throwing it? If you're not throwing it for a strike, why just a fastball and a changeup? Like fastballs play all the time. At any age, any level. And Bryan Woo's an example of that playing all the time, like all the time. And it's just, he throws it a lot. He locates it. It's got a different weird movement to it all the time. It's just again, as you get into with these pitchers and all these guys, and I was listening to the beginning of the broadcast, and and again, like Riz is, celebrating or promoting the fact that Paul Skenes got like 6 or 7 different pitches, and he is an impressive pitcher. And I'm not taking anything away from Paul Skenes, and he's got the splinker, and sometimes, fastball is just the best thing in the world. Just is. It's like running the football, and it's like running the ball in football. Like it's always going to work. It's always going to travel. It's always going to play. Doesn't matter what era it is. That's always going to play out. And so is the fastball. I mean, my God, we watched the most dominating pitcher in a Mariners uniform, Randy Johnson, have 2 pitches. That's it. A fastball slider. That's all he threw. He didn't have 6 different pitches. He had a dominating fastball. He had just an incredibly diabolical 6 slider, and just made it in a Hall of Fame career out of those 2 pitches. Mariners will have an off day today. They're just traveling. They're in New York City right now. They're 6 games over 548 and 42. They're in a good position in the wild card, but we've discussed before, it's not about the wild card for this squad, especially this year. They got a 2.5 game lead on Boston right now for the 3rd wild card spot. They are game back of the Rays and Yankees for that 1st and 2nd wild card. So at this point, maybe the wild card is what we should be focused on. Although it is still July 7th, as we talked about before, I think with Bill and Jim, plenty of time to come back for sure. And hopefully the Astros can stumble here a little bit, but the Astros have not stumbled. And maybe it just came across, what maybe the best series of the season for any team, and sweeping the Dodgers in their home ballpark and holding them to, I don't know, I think it was 7 runs total in those 3 games. And then in that first game, they obliterated them 18-1. But the Astros right now lead the American League West there by 7 games. They will face each other the first series coming out of the break. And Mariners have any chance of doing anything in the second half. They've got to obviously win that series. And for the Astros, they just keep doing it despite all the injuries, despite losing players in the offseason. We've discussed it before. They just have the winning culture DNA. They just have it. They've got 6 games remaining in the season, the first half, all at home, 3 against Cleveland and then 3 against Texas before they hit the All-Star break. All right, coming up real quick, we've got Hey, What the Puck? But before that, quick shout out. This hat I'm wearing, Napoleon, it's an oil company, not like oil gas, like olive oil. Give them a shout out. Why don't you give them some love? Do they even have a website? Hold on. I've never even searched if they do. You know what? And if the owner or one of the guys listening right now is like, yeah, we have a website, you idiot. Yeah, there it is. Napoleon-.com. Our oils. Give them a follow. Shout out why I'm bringing this up. A friend of mine works there. Also is one of the coaches of the Ballard 11U All-Star team. I want to give a quick shout out to the Ballard 11U All-Star team. A great group of kids, great coaches led by Tony and Trent and Jimmy, and they're fantastic kids. They won a game yesterday. They won their second game, or they won their second game. They had lost their first game, a close one. They won their second game. So they're still alive in the district tournament for the All-Stars for 11U. And they play again on Tuesday, won 1-0 over North Central yesterday afternoon, which was just an incredible game to watch, high level. It was anxiety-filled to have a 1-0 game, that age of baseball, with great pitching on both sides, great defense on both sides, base running, all of it. It was a damn good game. It was a fun game to watch. And it was heartbreaker that somebody had to lose, but congratulations to Ballard. Got a great squad, a group of 11-year-olds who are just a dynamic group, and they're going to have gonna be a problem for whoever they face on Tuesday and the rest of the tournament. But shout out to those guys. Well done representing our neighborhood here in Little Old Ballard. First, I think, all-star win for baseball. We looked this up for just baseball only. It's been some lean years. I think we went back to 2021. That whether it's a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, or 12-year-old group has won a game at this district tournament. And I think they're the first one in 4 years to do it. So good job, boys. Good luck there on Tuesday. All right, here we go. Hey, What the Puck, which is brought to you by our good friends there at Restoration One. They are the company. They're going to take care of you there at Restoration One. They really are. Because you know what? They want you to be okay. It's your restoration company that lets you, which, by the way, Trent, one of the coaches, well, the manager, that's his spot. All right. They're going to let you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage. So if you're giving him a call and he's a little busy, he's a little tied up with baseball, give him a call, 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. All right, just to wrap up kind of our Julio talk. He has to be better. He has to be. And maybe he will be. But so far in this homestand, he hit, I think, 105. His slash line was like 105, 167, 143, and 310 for the homestand. He was not deserving of an all-star selection. He just wasn't. Doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's a good player. But he did not have an all-star first half. He's an excellent defender. No one's going to argue that. But unfortunately, there were more deserving players than Julio to make that all-star game in Atlanta. These upcoming months have been his best. July, August, September have always been his best. And this would be the most welcome news for this offense because they desperately need to get him going. He has to be, and he's got the potential to be the catalyst of a group that can lead this offense because they feed off his emotion and his energy. They do. And something that, and by the way, with his struggles at offensively, he's never let that stuff bother him out in the field or his emotions. I said this to Krueger earlier, and I stand by it. I think it would have been the best thing for him not to make it. I think it would have been the carrot to dangle over him for the second half of the season to motivate him even more for a bigger and better second half. I have a little fear that one of these years that he's not going to have this great second half of the season, just because I just think the law of averages would just say that one year he's not going to have these where he's going to explode. Maybe not. Maybe this is always going to be his trend. And if he does explode here in the second half of the season, man, this offense will just rise with him because they need him. They also need other help on this offense, but they really need to get Julio going, and he needs to get going right now because the starting off this month has not been good for Julio Rodriguez. All right, that's What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Give him a call, 206-817-8917. Please visit the website, restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. Thank you for everyone watching and listening today. Thank you to all our sponsors, Lindbeck Lumber, A Clean Streak, and Restoration One. Today's Daily Puck Drop, please find it on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Also find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms and up at pucksports.com. When you're there, sign up to be a member of the Pucks Posse, just $5 a month. support all the free content and VIP and exclusive shows as well, like our baseball coverage with MLB insider Ryan Divish. Let's see what else we got. Our Sports Pit that's going to come out later tonight, early tomorrow, with Steve Sandmeyer and Matt Stretch Johnson. Thursday visits with Mitchie the Kid. We had Thursday off last week, but he'll be back this week. And coming out later today, Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast, which we produce here at Puck Sports. You can find it on YouTube and all podcast platforms and up at pucksports.com. Appreciate all the support. As always, thank you for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow. A visit from John Canzano and Jim Duquette. Until then, as always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!